So for brows, I cannot stress enough how awesome it is to have them microbladed, because I didn't like the natural shape of mine, and I was plucking them down to nothing and drawing them on every day, and it would take like 10 minutes a day just to do my brows, and they weren't even all the time. So I got them microbladed. It was a bit of an investment, but it's totally worth it. So if you need information for my girl in Liberty, she does an awesome job. Anyway, so I'm just gonna go over the shape that I already have to fill in a little bit more, because this is really light for me. I like a darker brow. So I have a brow pencil here, and it's pretty creamy. So what we're gonna do is go underneath of the brow to outline it and then blend in. So all you do is outline it and then fill in the tail so it's a little bit darker, because once the angle of your face hits, it kind of seems to blend out a little bit. So I usually make that a little bit darker so it doesn't just disappear. So that's all the product you need to start with. And then you're going to take a little angled brush here, a little stiff angled brush, to blend it in. And you start back here where the product is to pick up a little bit, and then blend it up. They don't have to be perfect. They're sisters, not twins. I would have music playing, but they get really angry if you use music that you don't own the rights to, so we're just gonna sit here in silence. And if you do a little bit lighter at the edges or at the head, it looks a little bit more natural instead of blocky. And then you can get darker at the edges here and a little bit more defined. Okay, so there's that, and then I'm also going to go over the bottom line with a white concealer or a light concealer so you can really make it crisp. And I'm just going to use a teeny tiny little angled brush dipped in a little bit of concealer, and you're going to just trace that bottom line there and blend it out. You don't have to do this, it just makes that line really crisp. And if you do nothing else with your face, after your skincare of course, a little bit of concealer, do your eyebrows, mascara maybe, that's it. That's all you have to do to look put together. You don't have to do a full face of foundation and contour and everything. Just put in a little bit of effort. If you care, obviously, you're watching this video, so you care a little bit. There we go. Really crisp edges. Okay. And then for your eyeshadow, I suggest getting a palette so you don't have to figure out which colors are going to match with which or how many colors you should do. Just pick up a palette. It's got everything you need, light to dark. The CoverGirl palettes are my favorite. They're super buttery and blendable. They're very similar to Urban Decay, and we all know how expensive Urban Decay is. So here's the easy way to do your eyeshadow on a daily basis. You can do 1, 2, 3, 4 colors, doesn't matter, whatever you want, but this is a basic everyday neutral smoky eye. So after you have your concealer and or primer on your eyelids, if you've got hooded eyes, I would definitely recommend doing a primer, or if you've got some wrinkles or crepiness on the eyes, do some primer. It's going to help smooth everything out. You don't have to have it if you don't need it. That's just an extra product that you may or may not need. So then you're going to take some sort of a little brush like this. This one is an e.l.f. brand and it works great for laying on a foundation of eyeshadow. We're going to go with our lightest color, or a color similar and slightly lighter than your natural skin tone. So we can lay that on from lash to brow, and that will be your base for the other eyeshadows to slip and blend properly. It also brightens up all of the area that your darker shadows don't go on top of. And you can use a matte or a shimmer for this. Okay. Then we're going to start in on the colors. This one is the EcoTools eyeshadow brush, and this is awesome. Brushes make all the difference in the world, even if you're using a crappy product, which I don't recommend. But if you really like the color and it's a cheap brand, just make sure you're using good brushes, and that's going to really help blend it in and smooth it on. So for this one, I'm going to use this lovely pink here that has a little bit of shimmer to it. And here is where the trick comes in for laying on eyeshadow really easy and having crisp edges. You're going to take a little bit of your tissue and make a guide. And your guide lays on from the corner of your eye to the tip of your eyebrow there. Just make sure they're both even so they're not wonky. Okay. Pat it in the corner and then swoop it across like a windshield wiper, just back and forth. And we've got the base color. Now, if that's all you want to do, there you go. You do it on the other side, and you're ready to walk out the door after your eyeliner and mascara. Same on this side, maybe a little bit easier to see for you. Just blend it back and forth. The main thing is blend. You don't want harsh lines. Blend. If you think you're done blending, blend some more. All right. Then we can go with the same brush, since we're going lightest to darkest. Go in with more of a matte color. So I'm picking up this guy right here. So the matte color is going to help start to create the crease and shadowing right in the corner. Just pat it in right there, slightly on top of the tissue so you get a good crisp line there, and blend in a smaller area. And it's always easier to start with a lighter color and then decide you want to make it a little bit darker, or start with a little bit of product and then decide you want to make it more dramatic than going all out first. So if you have hooded eyes, make sure that when you're laying it on and tapping it in, you don't have your eye closed and you're not doing it right in the crease, because then when you open your eye, you're not going to see it at all. So if you have hooded eyes, you can create the crease a little bit higher, so then when you do have your eyes open, everyone can still see all of the work you put in. So have your eye open and tap it on to create the guide for where your crease is going to be, and then you can kind of close your eye a little bit and blend it in, but make sure you can still see it with your eye open. And then on the other side here, just lay the exact same and tap it in the corner and blend in a little bit more. Need a little bit more on the other side. So you can see that's starting to make my eyes look a little bit more cat eye, a little bit bigger. And you can still see everything when my eye is open. It's a little bit harsh on this camera. All right, And then I'm going to go in with a teeny tiny little Eco Tools brush with the darkest color here. If you're adventurous, you could also use black. And this just goes in right there in the very corner. You don't need very much at all. And this is just giving us more dimension on our eyes. You can create a lot of different effects with eyeshadow. So I'm not sure you can even see that that pink that we put down first. So I'm going to use just a little bit more on top. And an awesome blending brush is this guy from Eco Tools. You can use this as a shadow eraser or to blend in, and a little goes a long way. You just tap it and pull it a little bit and it'll blend it right in. And then underneath, you don't really need anything harsh. So again, in the Real Techniques brush set, it'll come with this little guy. And I like to use one of the shimmery colors right underneath of the eye. Don't use dark colors unless you want to be really dramatic, but it can pull the eye down. But this kind of completes the look a little bit more with the eyeshadow if you've got some sort of a color underneath. All right, and then we're going to go with a liquid eyeliner pen, or you can also use a gel pot. So we're gonna go with a gel pot because I feel like you have more control over how much product you put on, and it usually comes with a little brush. This one I've clipped into more of a point since I like that real sharp edge, and you're just gonna pick up a little bit on your brush here. And we already had that tissue guide on here, so your eyeshadow already has the right angle, so you don't have to worry about it being, you know, 45 degrees this way and 37 degrees that way. So it's going to be a lot more even if you use that tissue guide to lay on your eyeshadow. And then you just start in the corner, and if you're going to do a wing, you can pull it up a little bit. And then pick up a little bit more product. Do the same angle on the other side. So we've got our little wingies. And if you've got hooded eyes, make sure you do this looking straight ahead with your eyes open so you can see your product or your line when your eyes are open. If you close your eyes to do the corners, you might not be able to see it with your eyes open. So go ahead and do that with your eyes open. Make sure they're even. I usually spend a little bit more time on this, but this video is getting long. And then go right along the lash line. And you don't have to go all the way to the corner, just make sure that it doesn't stop abruptly and you trail it off. And you can pull your lid to the side a little bit like that to make sure that the lid is taut and your brush isn't gonna like skip and drag. Okay. And then you just fill in that little gap there. Okay, if you need to crisp up your edges, get your little pointy angled brush and run it right along there to clean it up. All right, we're gonna finish up with a little bit of a white liner right along the waterline, and that's gonna make your eyes look more open. Don't use black on your waterline. It just closes up your eyes so much. It makes them look so much smaller. And then a mascara. You can do 1 coat, 2 coats. Just make sure that you do it before the first coat dries. And if it starts to get a little chunky or clumpy, you probably need a new mascara. You have to throw them out every 3 months. Once it's open, I don't care if you've only used it twice. Throw it out after 3 months because it'll start to get dry and gross. A little bit in the corner on the bottom. And we're going to finish up the face with a little bit of highlight right on top of the cheekbone there. A little bit on the bridge of your nose. There you go. You're done.